Thank you for staying with us here in the newsfeed. The Minister of Justice and Correctional Services is answering questions at a media briefing on a range of issues, including the granting of special remission of sentences to specific categories of offenders. Let's rejoin that briefing now.
To his application for a presidential pardon, I had already stated previously that his attorneys did write to us and requested that we help him with the issue of a presidential pardon. My predecessor previously had stated to the country and to the fees must fall activists that he is willing to help them with the process of application for either presidential pardon, expungement, or any other processes that could help them with regard to their processes. I answered the same thing on the 27th of August in Parliament, that we remain ready to help this category of students who were involved in some kind of misdemeanor with our criminal justice system. And I was shocked when I further confirmed that we remain ready to help with that process of a presidential pardon with the response we received from the nation. It was like we have said he has received it. It is my job to advise the president on presidential pardons. It comes through the Department of Justice. We process it. We have got forms that will help. And it is for the president to agree or disagree with our processes. But it's important for us to help whoever wants to apply for a presidential pardon, because we are then able to say these are the factors that the president may likely consider. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no policy. But we have got matters where people have been granted pardons in the past, who were outside, who have said, look, I was convicted in 1970 for a crime that I have committed then, but now I can no longer do my job. I'm not getting promotion, I'm not getting that because of a criminal record. Can the president help me with a pardon? Which the president has done on various of them. The only thing that has not yet happened up to now is to give a pardon to somebody who is inside prison. In some instances, it may warrant that it can be given. In some, it may warrant that it may not be given, depending on the circumstances and the merits of each case. So with regard to Kaya Kageshe, the process of pardon had to be pended because he took a route of appealing. So his pardon is not at this stage is waiting the outcome of the Supreme Court of Appeal or the Constitutional Court. Whatever the outcome will be there, it is then that if he still wants us to help him, we may consider the issue. But on the part of remission, he does benefit. I'm not sure if I've answered all the questions.
You've got Wallace.
Oh, the Wallace one. Masek, I nearly forgot that one.
You've got Dubai.
Oh, and Dubai.
And then, will the Gupta family be rehabilitated? First question.
Will the Gupta family be rehabilitated? I think that's the first question. You have to be first be sentenced before you can be rehabilitated. The due process must take you through. Then when you arrive in our centers, we take you through a process of rehabilitation with social workers, with psychologists, with whatever help that we may deem necessary to assist you with the process of rehabilitation. Indeed, later this evening, we will be going to the UAE, attending a United Nations conference on anti-corruption. It is not uncommon, I heard from Cape Town, that it is not uncommon that when we attend these kind of events, you will have bilateral engagements with your counterparts. And as that, we will have various bilateral engagements in the UAE with whoever that we may deem necessary. But already an advanced team from the department and from the National Prosecuting Authority, they are already in the UAE. The conference started today. I should have been there by today. But the reason I could not leave yesterday is because of this announcement by the president. So I had to be here so that I can give you the full details of what does this remission mean. And I know that they've started the conference, engagements are happening. As and when the clarity is there, we will be able to give to the nation whatever that clarity that is needed. But whether there is political overreach or not, there is no political overreach. The Department of Justice is the central authority through which extradition, mutual legal assistance, or any other thing that needs international cooperation goes through. It goes through us. We sign them, we engage with whoever from any other country that relates to the issue of mutual legal assistance or signing of extradition treaties and agreements and all that. What we do not do is to send questions and investigations. That then is the job of the law enforcement authorities, which becomes the NPA and the police. That becomes an operational issue which will have to be attended to by the NPA and the police in terms of questions and so forth. It's not like we're going to Dubai with a suitcase to fetch the Guptas. It is done through the law. What we are going to engage with them there is the issue that there has been an extradition treaty that we have already signed, our parliament has ratified. It has not yet been ratified in Dubai or in the UAE. So it's an important issue for us as a Department of Justice, because it's us who engage with our counterparts in any country if an extradition treaty has not been ratified. But although it might not have been ratified and so forth, there are still international instruments that still allows law enforcement agencies to cooperate. And it is that engagement that must still be pursued, must still be operationalized by the relevant law enforcement agencies. And ourselves as a country, we are saying they must use those channels, they must do their job. If they want to meet whoever, the NPA, the guys we are going with to the United Nations, we have given them the freedom to do so. If they feel that there is some evidence or any information that they need, the international treaties, they are those that guide them and may allow them to engage on some processes. At this stage, we believe we will get cooperation, and hopefully at some stage the extradition treaty will be ratified and all papers will be on the table for the law enforcement agencies to continue to do their job. Oh, the Walus one. Hey, I always forget this one. Maybe it's because I don't want to answer it somewhere. But this one is a nice question because the court has given me 60 days. I'm still within the 60 days. When I have made a decision, I will invite you, like I will have invited you here, to tell you that this is now our decision on Walus. At this stage, we are still studying the judgment. You know, learned colleagues like to say we're studying the judgment. We're also studying it.
Okay, colleagues, follow-up questions. Let me just check with Cape Town if there's a follow-up question.
No, we're fine, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number one. Number two. TD's your hand up. Okay, number one.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Claudia from Business Day. I just wanted to find out what is the reason behind the UAE not having ratified the treaty yet, and when did South Africa sign it? How long has this been lagged? Thank you.
2018.
Minister, on the issue of what could be the reason, since you got to the department, what, when you go through the various documentation, were the reasons given as to why your department then under Michael Masuta was against the release of Yanush Walush or declined his application for parole on his sentence? And as I asked earlier on, when you look at the time he spent in prison and you've gone through these particular records, do you not think that he's paid whatever he needed to pay for his sins that he may have committed at the time to the death of the former General Secretary of the Communist Party, His Honor?
The answer is the same. I'm still studying the judgment. When I have studied it properly, like my learned colleagues, I will then call a press conference, or we will communicate to the public that we have now studied the judgment and this is our decision. At this stage, we are not ready to answer that question. It's not like we don't want to answer it. We are just not ready to answer it. We will answer it when we are ready, when we have studied the judgment.
Okay, colleagues, thank you very much. Oh, there's a question there.
I'm sorry. Just from a practical point of view, how long, you talked about operational process, how long does it normally take? Is it months or weeks?
As you have heard, it's thousands of people.
Yes.
It takes, the last one took 3 months. Remember I said it started in April, it ended somewhere in July or June. It can take between today to 3 months to 9 months, and yeah, it's a long, audacious process because it involves processing each and every individual with the details, with biometrics, with the pre-release report, with all those things. So it is a tedious process. But a person who has been processed can also be released tomorrow morning. Can be released on Thursday, on Saturday, next week, on January. That's how it's going to happen. So that's why it becomes difficult for us to say this one will be released tomorrow, because that then becomes a process that happens at the center, and then the center and the family and that person will say this one by Christmas, as you're asking, will be at home, or we are unable to process his thing or whatever. But as things stand now, the process has started.
Question? We've got one question in Cape Town.
Sure.
Sorry, Minister, if I can just, in the case of Mr. Pekeshe, it's been reported that he is on suicide watch and has suffered a quite profound form of mental breakdown as a result of his incarceration. Is that a factor that will be considered in sort of looking at people who will possibly be, this process will be undertaken quicker than others? Because as you point out, he is eligible for parole quite soon, so there is a very imminent possibility that if he isn't prioritized, he'll be released on parole before the remission actually affects him.
Yeah, no, all factors are looked at, and such factors are also looked at. But you will know that with regard to medical issues, there's a different process of medical parole and so forth. But it does weigh into this process that we are involved in as a factor to be looked at.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That concludes our press conference for today.
Which one?
Oh, the ratification. The ratification.
No, I answered it. I said it was in 2018.
2018.
Sorry, Minister. Though what I also asked was, what is the reasoning behind why they have not ratified?
No, we don't know.
And then just
That's what we need to establish in these meetings. It's not like, as I've said before, we're carrying a bag to come back with the Guptas. It's those things that we will need to establish why, and if there's a problem, how can we resolve it, all those kind of issues. But that process has started a long time ago, but this is another opportunity because almost everyone, because they are hosting a United Nations conference, who can make a decision will be there.
But sorry, Minister, I just also want to say, you said 2018. Can you be more specific than that? Has it effectively been more than a year that the UAE has sat with this?
Okay, that information is on our website. I can definitely say to you exactly when the treaty was ratified by South Africa and when it was ratified by Parliament. So that's information that I can give to you. It's easily available. Okay.
You want to ask?
That concludes our press
No,
conference. Is there anything
Actually, I can't remember when it was ratified before the elections by both houses of Parliament. I think it was last year, towards the end, but as Crispin has said, we can give the direct information as to when the actual dates of ratification. It gets ratified once it's ratified by both houses of each House of Parliament.
Okay. Once more, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out on holiday. We appreciate it.
And that concludes the media briefing by the Minister of Justice and Correctional Service, Ronald Lamola, taking place in Pretoria. A lot of pertinent questions there, one of them including that of Khanya Gqegeshe. The fact that he is appealing his sentence means that he's not currently eligible for that sentence. But as Ronald Lamola, the Minister, has said, all factors will be considered. We take a break now and return just after this.